home now. I'm coming home. Yes, with one trailer and one song, I was hooked. I wanted to see this movie. So here's my review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Sorry for getting this out so late. It just came out on Blu-ray in the States and it just came out here in Japan a couple weeks ago. And I watched it twice. I saw it once in 2D, saw it once in 3D, and yeah, let's redo it. Let's do this. Let's review this movie. So, first of all, the good. I think this movie's great. This movie was great. First of all, the characters. So many great characters to like. Miles, of course. I was so glad they finally got to do a Miles Morales movie because I remember when Sony and Disney and Marvel were doing a whole little crossover, I guess you want to call it, using Spider-Man in Civil War and then with Spider-Man Homecoming. Part of me was like, are they going to give us Miles Morales? Because that was one of the thoughts of some people like myself. Was like, well, they've done Peter Parker twice, so let's get Miles now. They referenced him in Homecoming, and this one, well, Sony delivered with Miles. He's a really good character, very likable, very relatable, and I like the fact they don't try and make him too like urban or street. He's just a guy who has his own hobbies and likes and dislikes, and I do like his origin story of becoming Spider-Man. Not to mention, there are like 6 different origin stories that you can get caught up on in like 5 minutes, and you understand each and every single one of them. And it's like, okay, great, I got it, thank you, and I understood everything about them in that 5 minutes. And I'm a Spider-Man fan. I'm glad they put in Gwen Stacy. She was cool. I like her little story arc with Miles, and I like the fact they didn't try to put Crowbar in this movie. Instead, it became a friendship. And so, yeah, in case you didn't know from the title, spoilers in this movie review. So yeah, Miles is great. His relationship with his dad, I really like that. There was some great action. This is a movie that benefits because it's animated, because you can do so much fast action and so much cool stuff when all the Spider people are just web slinging into a building. It's great, and in 3D it's beautiful. There are so many beautiful scenes in this movie, and not even just the action sequences. The scene where Miles finally becomes Spider-Man is so good, and in 3D it is gorgeous. Especially when you see in the trailer him posting himself against the building and leaping off, and that whole scene from beginning to end with him hearing his parents, his Uncle Aaron, and Peter B. Parker. I'll get to him momentarily, and all this stuff, and then What's Up Danger being played. I like Home by Vince Staples, but Black Caviar's What's Up Danger, I forget the other guy who does this song, but yeah, What's Up Danger, it is so good, and the timing of the music, it's so great, and in 3D, like I said, it is gorgeous, and the action sequences are so good. There are so many cool moments, and it flows so well. It's not like this shaky animation where you don't know what's going on, with like a shaky camera sort of thing, or it doesn't follow one character enough. What it does is like it follows one and then goes into the next one, and it flows so beautifully because it's animation. And not to mention, the animation itself is really good for the most part. There are a couple scenes where it's a little iffy, I guess. It kind of looks like stop motion, but for the most part, the animation is really good. I like the different styles of animation, so they look different, like Noir Spider-Man, Penny Parker, and Spider-Pig, or Spider-Ham, sorry, Peter Porker. They're so, and not to mention the personalities are so different, and they work so well off each other. Man, it was so cool. And Peter B. Parker, he's the character that I really started liking because he was very relatable, and it was finally a Spider-Man that had adult problems. And one of the best scenes to me of him was during his backstory when he says she wanted kids, and that scared me. It's like, that's so relatable because, you know, a lot of people, when they think of the idea of having kids, it scares them. And it's just one of those things like, yeah, would he be scared? Of course he'd be scared having kids, especially being a superhero. And there's so many things like that. And I like to, yeah, he was a little bit out of shape and a little little past his prime, but I kind of like the fact that he was different than what we've been getting from Peter Parker in a lot of the movies. So I like it. Like I said, Miles, though, he's the center. He is the focal point, and there's so much good stuff. Him and his uncle are so have a good chemistry together. You can tell that he looks up to his uncle, and so when he finds out that his uncle is actually a villain, a super villain, the Prowler, and by the way, the Prowler, when he shows up, and that sound, that boom, boom, is, man, I just, when I first saw that, I got a chill up my spine, even when he was being, when that was being played, because it's so good. And then when he finds out that it's his uncle, and then when his uncle finds out he's Spider-Man, that it's a heartbreaking moment, especially when he finds out that scene where he's choking Peter, and then, he's choking Miles, and Miles said, Uncle Aaron, Uncle, and then he takes off the mask. Again, the animation is so good because you see, even with the mask on, you can tell the emotions in his face. And then when he removes his mask, that whole scene is so well done. And then when he becomes Spider-Man, when Miles becomes Spider-Man, oh, it is so damn good. I mentioned earlier when What's Up Danger is playing, and the whole sequence. And then what's great is when they're doing the backstories, they will show a comic book. And when it was finally Miles, like, yes, it's going to happen, and boom, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, like, yes, I wanted to just go, yes, in the theater, but when I watched it, I didn't want to be annoying, but it was so good. And yeah, and then of course, they left it open for more, and yes, I want more of this type of animation. I want more of Miles. I want more of Gwen Stacy, Peter B. Parker, Penny Parker, Spider-Man Noir, even Spider-Ham. I want all of them. And so I'll talk about that later, but I want to talk about some dislikes. And I've heaped praise upon this movie. The designs, the characters, everything was so good. Did I dislike anything? Yes, I did. I didn't like Kingpin, and mainly design. He was like a wall. Like, I know Kingpin's a really big guy, but like the '90s Spider-Man did it well. He was like big, but he was still imposing and looked like he could actually fight. Whereas the Kingpin in this one, he was like all like this, and it's stubby little arms and stubby legs. I was like, how's this guy gonna move? And he had that really weird New York accent, and his way he was playing himself off was kind of like another, like, I don't know, it doesn't really fit well. And I did like his desire, why he was doing what he was doing, and I wish they would have done a little bit more with it. And that's a sign of a good movie, when you want more of it. And I think it could have been maybe 5 minutes longer to really give us a little bit more of that. And so I didn't like that element of it. Some of the animation, like I said, was a little weird because it felt a little stop motion. And the end credit scene with Spider-Man 2099, I started liking it first, and then it ended badly to me. I know some people think it was funny, but I don't know. When you said it, I was like, oh, we're going to get more Spider-Man? Awesome! Spider-Man 2099, and then who else is going to show? And then they showed the 60s Spider-Man cartoon, and they just did the pointing meme. I didn't like it. It ended kind of on a bad note for me. I'm sure some people like it. I didn't. But all in all, great movie, and it is now my favorite Spider-Man movie. And so, before we forget, I want to ask, have you watched this movie? Is it now your favorite Spider-Man movie? If it's not, what is your favorite Spider-Man movie? Let me know. So, now we got that out of the way, I want to talk about the future, because there's been some speculation that there's going to be a sequel, maybe a spin-off, and especially after this movie won a Golden Globe and Academy Award for Best Animated Movie. It made a boatload of money for Sony. You just know they're going to make more. It's popular with critics, with fans. It's so good. And before I get into the future, even my brothers, when we got to the theater, they kept asking me stuff about Miles and Gwen Stacy. He's like, "Is that what happened in the comics? Is that real? Is that how it works?" Because I'm the Miles fan of the three of us. And my cousin George, what's up, George? He texted me. He was like, I understand that after that movie, I'm a fan of Miles Morales, and I was like, welcome to the fan club, because I've been a fan of Miles for years. So yeah, let's get into the future. So the idea is maybe they're going to do a spin-off with Gwen Stacy, which I'm all for. I like Gwen Stacy. I like Spider-Gwen. Great design, good backstory. And if you want to do like a more female-centric story, I'm cool with that. You already have two women in there. You have Penny Parker and you have Gwen Stacy. I was just adding one more because this one could actually add to the other characters as well. And that Mayday Parker from Spider-Girl. She is the daughter of Peter Parker and Mary Jane in a different timeline, in a different universe. So again, more Spider people, more into the Spider-Verse. And so she can be the third person in this group, and you can have a little bit more development between the three of them, make them be friends, and also develop their characters individually. And if you bring in May Parker, she can be that future kid that Peter has. And Peter B. Parker sees that maybe he could have in his timeline. And I like Peter B. Parker. His whole thing with Mary Jane was interesting. But getting real back to something I didn't like, there's one thing I didn't like at all. Was with him and that universe's Mary Jane. Unnecessary. It slowed down the movie too much for me. I didn't like it. But other than that, let's get back to to looking into the future. So, next, I want more Miles. Give me a second Miles movie. I want to see him grow more as Spider-Man. I like his relationship with his dad and his mom, so we never had with Peter Parker. Parents, yeah, I want to see them develop more with him. There wasn't enough of his mom, so let's have his mom have more of the spotlight, and also more of his relationship with his dad. Not to mention, I would like to see maybe one of them or both of them figure out that he is Spider-Man, he's the new Spider-Man, and maybe confront him. Maybe there's a little bit of tension. Maybe there's somewhere he's has to tell him that I was there when Uncle Aaron died, and I would like to see that, because that's always an interesting thing in the comics, where like when the family member or someone really close learns of the secret identity, how that plays out. And I would like to see that with his dad. Good character. I like that. Like his, like I said, I like his dynamic with his dad a lot. I see stuff with his mom. Also, I would like to see a big story, including all of these different Spider people. And you can even add maybe one or two other ones, maybe Spider-Man 2099. I would bring in what I would call the Sinister Spider-Man. And this is the one who, it's an Elseworld, different universe, you can do it, where Peter Parker trained with Logan under this guy called Rook, and he became like an assassin, very serious, no quip, kind of no nonsense Peter Parker. It'll be interesting to see that dynamic too. So you can add, you have 9 at that point, and I think that's good, because what I would like to see is, in the comics there's a group of, I guess, vampire-ish people who feed off of people who have spider powers. And so I would like to see that sort of vampire clan go up against this group of spider people. Maybe even kill 1 or 2 of the spider people if you bring in other ones for like cannon fodder. Or maybe even kill 1 of the 6. If you're going to kill one of them, my vote would probably go to Spider-Ham, because he's the one I like the least. But if you want to go dramatic, I hate to say it, but Peter B. Parker, that would be a good dramatic one. And yeah, there's so much you can do with that element, and I like that story. They're doing one right now, I believe, in the comics, so I would like to see maybe these vampires people be like the Endgame, the 3rd movie in this Spider-Man trilogy, or Spider-Verse trilogy, with this Miles movie, have a second one leading up to it, and then the 3rd one you have the showdown with those spider vampires. I'm going to call them spider vampires because I forget what they're called. and then you have a side movie with Gwen Stacy, Mayday Parker, and Penny Parker. So that's my little brainstorming. I've had this on my mind for a few days. I want to put it in this review. So that's one of the reasons why I got this out kind of late. So that's my thoughts on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So I already asked what your favorite Spider-Man movie is. Take what happened. If you have watched this movie, and if it's out on Blu-ray now, buy it. Definitely buy it on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever else they're going to come up with next. So buy this movie, and if you have seen it, give me an idea what you want to see happen in the next Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie. Let me know in the comments, and my next movie review will be another Marvel movie, but it's not going to be Sony, that's for sure. So, till then, take care. Bye.